Throughout Module 5, I've learned a lot about what it takes to be a teacher. So we went over unit planning, lesson planning, backwards design, and unpacking a standard. All very important topics on what it means and how you can strategically plan for your students. So to begin with, I used the Common Core Standards of California to unpack my standard. And this is a reference that really helped map out and sequence my lesson plan for speaking and listening, 11th through 12th grade for English and language arts. I found a lot of opportunities opposed to limitations in the Common Core Standard. I discovered that the objectives that are current in the standard are actually very good, and I used a lot of them for my objectives of the unit plan. And also, it leaves a lot of room for creativity, which I was really surprised. We'll go into my unit plan first that I developed about a month ago, and I'll talk about some revisions that I made, how I integrate technology into my unit plan, and then break apart into the three lesson plans that I developed and created. All right, so here we go. And this is my unit plan template for my speaking and listening unit for ELA 11 through 12. My Common Core Standard: initiate and participate effectively in a range of collaborative discussions, one-on-one in groups, and teacher-led with diverse partners on grades 11 through 12 topics, texts, and issues building on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly and persuasively. All right, so the vision of my unit is this lot of objectives. Students will prepare, having read materials, they'll draw on conclusions of evidence, text, research, and then ultimately learning how to speak in front of a camera, in front of people, maintaining posture, voice, and speaking with clarity. So, for multiple perspectives, I want students to be able to have a greater understanding of different cultures and different ideas that are expressed. So, one way of doing that is through innovations and promotions of the 21st century. I want to use a lot of video essays, um, even just students filming each other, utilizing Skype, using those types of digital technologies that everybody uses every day now. They're very common, but they need to be exercised, just like how I'm doing this video right now. No different than the type of exercises I want my students to be doing. I created a 4-week lesson unit plan, and so I feel like the scaffolding of my unit plan is very, how do I say, chronological, and it has a point to it as well. I'm explaining why I'm doing this with the students, which is always appreciated by students, and going forward to learning how to collaborate with one another, becoming more of a discussion class where the students lead the class, um, and then going into the project. So until I have students, I'm not going to really know how this is going to go down. One of the pre-assessments that I'm going to do is I'm going to film the students, give an introduction about themselves, and use that as a assessment to have a snapshot how the students are looking at the camera, how they are speaking, how they're holding themselves, and how their voice tone is. All sorts of different assessments, just based off of one video of them giving an idea to the classroom who they are and answering maybe 2 or 3 questions. Okay, so let's go to my lesson plan, my first lesson plan. So lesson planning. So this is my first lesson plan. It is called a video discussion, dissection, and reflection upon or on unequal inequalities in America. So this is a video essay that I made right here if you'd like to watch it. And it goes over many of the current events of inequality that we're going through, with the Me Too movement, with racism, with financial inequality, healthcare inequality, and so here's my multicultural lesson plan. Okay, just a little quick view of it. And in this assessment, the students are going to divide into two groups, monoculture versus multiculture, and there's an article of the same title. Students are going to read that article and then discuss the pros to monoculture and then the pros and cons of multiculture. And this is the last of my lesson plans. And the assessment is on the four agreements. We're going to read the four agreements as a class, and then we're going to talk about the four agreements, and how they fit into our lives, or maybe they don't, and different questions I've compiled upon this book. So the last bit of this video, this vlog, I'm going to go over is how effective would you rate your initial unit plan. I would give myself a 8 out of 10 because it's my first one I've ever created and I haven't actually taught it yet, so I don't know how effective it is quite yet. So what led to revisions? My revisions that I made were mainly additions opposed to subtractions. I found that lesson planning is not easy and that it takes a lot of organization. However, I did learn that it can be a very creative process, which I'm very for, and that the Common Core standards aren't as rigorous and rigid as anticipated. I'm going to assess students based off of rubrics, assessing them off of participation, collaboration, what students are offering in discussions, how prepared they are. Really, though, assessing students based off of where they began with the pre-assessment at the beginning of class by filming the students give an introduction about themselves. And that's about it. Thank you so much, and to lesson planning, to improving upon lesson plans.